Ramsey Show. You can be intentional about your character. You can have money and a career. You are the hero in your story. Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, broadcasting from the Dollar Car Rental Studios, it's the Ramsey Show, where debt is dumb, cash is king, and the paid-off home mortgage has taken the place of the BMW as the status symbol of choice. I'm Dave Ramsey, your host. Anthony O'Neill, Ramsey personality, #1 best-selling author of the book Debt-Free Degree, and host of the ever-popular YouTube show, The Table, is my co-host today as we answer your questions about your life and your money. Open phones at 888-825-5225. That's 888-825-5225. The advice is free, the call is free, and some say it's worth exactly what you pay for it. Matthew is in Valdosta, Georgia. Hey, Matthew, how are you?
Fine, how about you?
Good, man. How can we help?
I was calling today to see what to do with my mobile home. My question is, I have it. I'm working on getting it paid off. So I was wanting to know, would it be better just to pay the extra and pay it off and maybe keep it as a rental property, or pay it down, sell it, and put it down on a new home?
Mm-hmm. Is there another option where you can just sell it today?
I mean, I can, but I still got to pay it down a little bit because I'm a little upside down in it.
Okay.
What's it worth? What's it worth today?
Right around $50,000 is what I had it valued as.
How much do you owe?
$53,900.
Yeah. What would it be worth in 10 years?
I'm not real sure. Maybe 40.
20?
10.
20, maybe.
10.
Yeah.
So investments should go up.
Mm-hmm.
Mobile homes go down.
I got you.
They're not investments.
Beautiful.
So what we're going to do is we're going to do what Anthony was suggesting, and that is get out of it sooner rather than later, for simply that reason, because you're getting ready to turn, over a period of a number of years, we don't know the exact number, but you're getting ready to turn $50,000 into $10,000.
Mm-hmm.
And we can't do that very often and become wealthy.
Yeah.
So when you want a rental property, you want a rental property that's going up in value while you're dealing with renters and collecting rent.
Yeah.
You don't want a rental property that's going down in values and all you get is rent, because systematically the asset is it's depreciating. It's going away.
Yeah. So what I would do is I'll go ahead and just put it on the market and just cover the difference.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if it's $3,000 on the difference, I'd rather you pay $3,000 today than $13,000 in the next year or two.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because while you're trying to pay it off, it's depreciating. So you're going to always be playing that game.
You're chasing it.
Exactly.
It's just like a car.
Yeah.
I mean, cars go down in value. That's how you get upside down on a car.
Yeah.
And, you can't, no one can look at you with a straight face and call a car an investment.
Mm-hmm.
It's a consumption item.
Yeah.
And they go down in value like a rock. That's where Chevy gets at. And you Ford people aren't any better. It's found on the road depreciated, right? And so they all go down in value. There's no exceptions. I mean, the only exception would be a classic car that you don't drive, that's a collectible. And you might buy something that goes up in value. I like watching those car auctions of those $200,000 cars from the 70s that I bought for $3,000 and didn't keep. So there you go. But that is not the normal situation with a vehicle. The normal situation with a vehicle is that you're going to lose your butt.
Yeah.
And the same thing would be true of a mobile home. The difference is with a mobile home, you actually have a different option, which is buy something that goes up in value.
Yes.
The old house thing. And Anthony, you've done pretty well on your real estate.
I have. I've done very well. I'm happy.
Your timing is...
My pocketbook is screaming happy. That's all I can say.
Your timing is Ramsey-esque.
Hey, listen.
I mean,
I'm connected to the Mr. Real Estate guy, so everyone thinks he's the only get out of debt guy. Man, listen, I listen to you,
No, because I tell you, I don't sell stuff. I just buy it, and you sell it.
I do.
You take the cash off the table.
I sure do. No, wait.
Linda is in San Jose, California. Hi, Linda. How are you?
Hi there. Thank you for taking my call.
Sure.
My
how can we help?
question is, I have to I have two options. So option number one is, do I do a cash out refinance on my property to use that money to build a home in a lower expense state? Option number two is I can liquidate my brokerage account, which currently giving me roughly between 16 to 18% rate of return on my money, and use that money to pay for the construction of the house.
Is there an option,
Option three. Sell the house that you are going to refinance and cash out, and use that money to build the property.
Oh, man. I've been around Dave
Well,
too
I was
long.
going to do that, but option three can't be there because we currently have a business, and our children are still in college, and we...
Then why do you need a house in another state?
Yeah.
Well, that is going to be my retirement property.
Okay, when you
I
get
will-
ready to retire, then sell the house you're in and move over there. But you don't need to buy a house 10 years before you retire because someday you're going to need it.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
You are not going to do this.
She's not.
She's not going to do this.
So hold on. So the reason I brought up about the cash out refinance is because my property is worth $2 million and I only owe $200,000 on it.
Mhm.
So if I do refinance and get the money out,
How much
my
is in your
payment will
brokerage account?
still- roughly $300,000.
Okay, I'll probably just pay off your house out of your brokerage account and be debt free, and then let's just build a big pile of wealth over here to the side. And when you get ready to leave, sell the $2 million house, which by then will be worth more, and use some of your brokerage money or whatever you need to do at that time. But you don't need to build a house that you don't need. You don't need this other house.
Well, what we've been doing is we would like to have a property up there where my husband and I can work there 3 days a week and then come back to California 4 days a week. And that's what we're thinking because I need to get my husband somewhat away from this area where we are. It's very congested and I want him to relax a little bit. And that was my thought. It's more than just money.
So what does what is the property going to cost that you're going to build that you're going to live in half time?
We already paid. The land is debt free. We bought
How
the
much
land
money do you
and
need to complete this deal?
Roughly $300,000.
Okay, I would use your brokerage money then.
Yeah. Well, hold on.
Listen. You called the Ramsey Show. 100% of the time, we don't tell you to borrow money.
Yeah.
100% of the time, I would never tell you to cash out to buy a second home.
Yeah.
To refinance cash out on your personal residence. It means you can't afford the second home.
And I would disagree with you on the last part, Dave. I'm gonna say still pay off your house and then just stack up the money for a year or two and then go buy the other house.
That'd be okay too.
You know.
But if you're gonna do the other house deal, yeah, you know what? I would do that. You're right because I wouldn't listen. The second house is a toy. If
Exactly.
your husband needs to relax, buy a vacation.
Thank you, Dave. Thank you.
Yeah, you don't buy a second home, which is a toy, until your present residence is paid off and until you pay cash for your second home. You got me on that.
I thank you, Dave. I was about to let you go after that comment.
Let me go where? I ain't going anywhere. Let me go. Set me free. This is the Ramsey Show. Stop paying your overpriced wireless provider and switch to Pure Talk. They use the same network as the larger providers for much less. For just $30 a month, get unlimited talk, text, and 6 gigs of data with no contract. The average family saves over $70 a month by switching to Pure Talk. Just go to puretalk.com and enter the promo code Ramsey to save 50% off your first month. Pure Talk, simply smarter wireless. Anthony O'Neill, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today. Open phones at 888-825-5225. Real estate's going crazy. We were just talking about that, and peak real estate season is here. This year, things are different. Prices are higher. Competition between buyers is intense. Sellers need to know what they're doing if they're going to make the most out of the sale of their home right now. You can make a six-figure mistake messing this up. A friend of ours, Anthony, works on the team here, sold his house the other day. $150,000 over asking, 17 bids. Wow.
What in the world?
You can make a big mistake if you don't have this is not amateur hour. You need a real estate agent that has played this game before. So you want a high-octane, high-protein real estate. So good stuff. You got to get her done and get with one of our endorsed local providers. They're real estate agents we trust. Our ELPs will help guide you through the entire home buying or home selling process. RamseySolutions.com/agent will connect you up with our trusted ELP, our Ramsey Trusted Real Estate Agents. RamseySolutions.com/agent. Check it out. All right, Dallas is with us. Dallas is in San Antonio. That's so confusing. Hey, Dallas, how are you?
Good. How you gentlemen doing?
Better than I deserve. What's up?
So my wife recently changed jobs, and she had about $40,000 in the 401k at her old job, and we're looking at where to put that money.
Good.
In her new job, they have a 401k, but they don't match. I know from listening to you that we should put the money somewhere where we can choose how to manage it instead of someone else.
Good.
So I have my own Roth IRA account with Charles Schwab, and I was just wondering if you'd recommend putting it in the same spot, or if it'd be somewhere better for us to roll that money into for now.
Well, Schwab is fine. Obviously, you're self-managing all of that. And so I personally use one of our SmartVestor Pros because I can get some insight from people who are playing in the stuff all day long. I can pick up the phone and call the guy, and I know a ton, obviously, about mutual funds. I've got tens of millions of dollars invested in mutual funds. But I also love having a guy in my corner that messes in it all day long. He just eats, breathes, and sleeps mutual funds. That's what he does all day. And I can pick up the phone. He's a friend. If I die, my wife is going to call him and say, where's our stuff? And so this is what I want in my corner for my investment person versus kind of a DIY thing. So, but Schwab is fine if you want to just DIY it. But if you want to get a little bit more, pull all your accounts in one place, begin to develop a long-term wealth-building relationship with an advisor, you can click SmartVestor at RamseySolutions.com and find someone in your area. It's good to have somebody in your corner.
No, absolutely, Dave. I have one person in my corner too, and I'm always asking them little questions here and there, learning. But absolutely, SmartVestor Pro is where to go.
Yeah, and just we're always going to tell you, as you said, you had that figured out, Dallas, that we're going to always, when you leave your company, roll your 401k to a traditional IRA. There's no taxes on that direct transfer rollover. And my personal investments and the investments we've told people to do for 40 years or the 30 years are the same. And it's 4 types of mutual funds: growth and income, aggressive growth, and international. And in each of those categories, pick a fund that has outperformed its category, the index for its category. And you can find funds that have outperformed the market. Not all of them have, but you can find them with guidance from somebody like a SmartVestor Pro. Luke is with us. Luke is in Owensboro. Hi, Luke. How are you?
Hey, Dave. Doing great. How are you?
Better than I deserve. What's up?
Hey, so anyways, right now I'm working on coming up with a counteroffer. The state of Kentucky is widening the road in front of my duplex, and they need most of the land and most of the duplex. So anyways, I'm trying to come up with the best option after we get through this negotiation for reinvesting the money. I recently found out about the 1033 kind of exchange, and I was curious if you think I would be able to use that since there is a threat of eminent domain here.
Is that the difference in a 1031 and a 1033 eminent domain?
Yeah, it says eminent domain or the threat of eminent domain. Or
well, that's definitely what this is. I mean, they're taking it. You didn't have an option here.
Correct. Yeah, I wanted to keep it till retirement. I'm currently 34.
So I've never heard of a 33. That's a 1033. I know what a 1031 is, but a 1033 is the same thing as a 1031, except it's eminent domain. What's the difference other than that?
So basically, you have two to 3 years to reinvest the money, and you get to hold on to it instead of putting it in like a third-party account, is what I'm saying. So that would be a much better deal, especially with the way the housing market is right now.
Tough time to reinvest, but a good time to cash out, assuming they pay you market value. So, what I want to do, because I don't know anything about this, and I've been in real estate my whole life. It's a wonderful thing. I'm just learning something brand new. I'm excited about that. But if I'm in your shoes, since I don't know, I'm going to not depend on a website to inform me, and me end up getting tagged with taxes. I want to get a good tax professional local that I can get my hands around his or her neck and choke them if they're wrong, because I really want somebody digging into this that knows their stuff.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, this probably doesn't happen too often. It's just some kind of predicament I found myself in.
Yeah, but I mean, how'd you figure out that? You just doing some research on Google or what?
Yeah, I just started Googling and kind of went down the rabbit hole and found out about that. And other people I've talked to have heard of it, but I don't know of anybody that's ever done it.
Yeah. So the thing is, the 1031 is a fairly standard process, but you don't want to miss a step on that, or all the taxes come due. And I suspect the 1033 is the same way. And so if some goob wrote a blog on the internet about it and you go by that, but that's not aligned with the detailed nuance of tax law, you could screw this up and bring all these taxes due and defeat the whole purpose. So you really want to make sure you've got every little thing, every T crossed, every I dotted, every jot and tittle is taken care of, because that would be the part that would scare me, because I don't know how to do this. I would want to really have a pro in my corner, and it's worth the couple of $100 fee to have a tax professional look over it, guide you through the process, because you're going to save more than that on taxes by doing this. The last thing I'll tell you is this: the state, the city, the government institution, sometimes they get bureaucratic, and they don't really have many emotions in the deal, but they make a wrong offer. And so if you can support with comparable sales a market value that is higher than they are offering you, I'm going to hold their feet to the fire for full market value in this market. Not a year ago, but today, as hot as real estate is today, they're taking a property you didn't want to sell, and eminent domain requires full market value, or we go to court and the judge looks at my comparable sales and my appraisal and says, oh, it doesn't agree with the bureaucrat at the state. Now, you can't just make up something. You can't go, well, I think it's worth that. That doesn't matter. I'm saying actual appraisal technique with comparable sales. Make sure you're getting every dime you're due.
So now, Dave, let me ask you this question, because I'm learning. This is brand new to me, the 1033 as well. With it being the state saying, hey, we need your house for us to make these roads better, shouldn't he get assistance with the taxes then, since he has no say-so?
Because it's state versus federal. Federal tax is where your capital gain is, and the feds don't give a rip.
Yes.
How you got the money. But the 1033 allows him to get paid, use that money to buy another property, and roll his old basis into the new property, thereby all the gain, and there's no tax on the gain.
Gotcha.
So it's almost like they called before with the IRA rollover.
Yes.
It works like a rollover in that sense. That's the way it works. That's a 1031. The 33 evidently has got some nuances to it because it's forced by the government, meaning eminent domain.
Okay.
This is The Ramsey Show. What makes our show unique is that we genuinely care about our listeners. We're intentional about choosing the best advertisers to recommend. Blinds.com is no exception. They offer high-quality window treatments at unbelievable prices, and they make it simple to shop blinds, shades, and interior shutters with easy online ordering, free shipping, and a guaranteed perfect fit. Go to Blinds.com and take advantage of this week's special savings. In the lobby of Ramsey Solutions on the debt-free stage, Jonathan is with us. Hey, Jonathan, what's up?
Nothing much, Dave. Super excited to be here. How are you?
Honored to have you, man. Where do you live?
I live in West Lafayette, Indiana.
Oh, cool. And all the way to Nashville to do a debt-free screen. How much did you pay off?
I paid off $73,728.
Love it. How long did this take you?
Took me 18 months or about a year and a half.
Good for you. And your range of income during that year and a half?
I started at about $66,000 and ended at about $80,000.
What do you do?
I'm a quality engineer at a local automotive plant.
Good for you. Okay. What kind of debt was your $74,000?
$46,000 of it was student loan debt, and $25,000 a car loan, and $2,000 consumer debt. Credit cards for some electronics, you know.
Gotcha. Okay. How old are you?
Electronics.
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 They're expensive. 26 years old.
Okay.
26.
So what happened a year and a half ago?
I never had a great relationship with money. I was always a very big spender, buying things I didn't really need, trying to keep up with the Joneses, so to speak. I remember at my first job out of college, there was this group of guys who all drove Corvettes. So, good idea here. Have my first car out of college be a 2003 C5 Corvette.
Oh, of course. Yeah, there you go. Because that always happens, yeah.
Very normal. They say it pays to look good, and I was paying. I think it was a 5-year note with a 7% interest rate.
Wow.
Whew.
I thought those guys at the dealership were being really nice to me.
Yeah, they were. They helped you get that car you wanted. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
That's funny.
I started a new job, and there was these group of guys there who were always talking about Dave Ramsey. And, you know, I'm not one to really take a lot of referrals for the podcast to listen to. But they said something. They said, if only I heard about Dave Ramsey when I was your age, I'd be a millionaire right now. So my interest was piqued. Wait, how do I become a millionaire?
Yeah.
So Greg, my coworker, lent me your Total Money Makeover book. And I'm also not much of a reader, big spender, not a big reader. And I read that book faster than I've read any other book. Finished it in about a week. And it really appealed to my logical side. I saw some of the errors in my ways, did everything wrong that I'm not supposed to do money-wise, and really got me thinking about, you know, my why and all the good reasons to get out of debt.
Yeah.
What was your why? I'm curious. Your main why?
To be honest with you, I took a trip to Hawaii one summer. I said, this is, you know, such a beautiful place. I would love to retire here.
Oh.
But I know that's not just going to fall in my lap. So that's going to take a lot of hard work and discipline. And also, you know, growing up, we never really like owned the house we lived in. It was always mortgaged with the plan of always moving away. So, you know, having those roots, building a strong foundation with family is something that's always really pushed me through.
I love it. I do love it. 26 years old, making $66,000 a year. You paid off $73,000 in a year and a half. This means that you were really making some strong sacrifices. You were living way below your means throughout these last 18 months. What was the hardest thing about that journey?
I think the hardest thing was taking a bonus check I got and putting everything towards the debt. Right in the beginning, I got this $20,000 bonus check, and I hadn't even started baby step 1. And so putting 19,000 of it straight to the debt was really daunting.
Well, that was commitment, though. That's when you knew it was game on, right?
Sure was.
Yeah.
Yeah, you were not fooling around anymore. We're doing this. This is a whole new thing.
Yeah.
Way to go, man. Yeah, that's when everything's a theory till you get hit in the mouth, and that old saying, and that's the truth here. I mean, everything's a theory till you drop $19,000 and it's all gone.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you had to clear up the debt because you'd already spent the money before you got it. Yeah. Wow, way to go, man.
Yeah.
Way to go. Yeah. So who were your biggest cheerleaders?
Obviously, my girlfriend Athena. She really pushed me to be debt free. She's debt free herself, and wanting to, get married one day and have a good foundation. As well as my coworkers, Greg, Patrick, Ray, Steve, they were all very encouraging, always checking up on me. Well, how's your debt-free journey going?
All the guys that wanted you to show you how to be a millionaire.
Yes.
That's the ones, yeah. I like these guys. This is a good group, man. You become who you hang around with, so I think you chose well.
Yes.
Very good. Very good. So what do you tell people the key to getting out of debt is?
First and foremost, know your why. I think in this journey I was learning so much about the benefits of being debt-free, trying to share this with my friends, but they weren't really on board. And I think it's because you can't just convince someone with the benefits. You got to feel it in your heart, and it's got to become part of your mission. So knowing your why. And second, the budgeting. It's really like what I've heard on the podcast before. Money just comes out of nowhere. And with the Every Dollar app I used, that's how it was. I actually calculated it would take me 24 months to get out of debt, but with the budgeting, money just started coming out of everywhere.
Well, you increased your income $14,000 during this time.
Absolutely.
What are you taking on, overtime or side gigs?
Overtime.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, and so, hey, money is available. I'm going to go get some. There you go, baby. Ding, ding. Yeah, that's fabulous. I'm so proud of you, man.
I am too.
Well done.
What's next? I'm curious. Now, since you're debt free, what's on the next thing for you?
Saving up for a house.
Okay.
I'd love to have the goal of paying cash for a house. I've always heard it on the podcast.
Okay.
It's shooting for the moon, but
no, it's not.
No,
it's not. You can make $80,000, and you don't have any payments. I mean, how's it feel to have no payments?
I know, man. You're 26.
It's scary, honestly.
Scary.
What was the one thing that when you paid it off, the one debt, and you went, God, I hate you people. I'm so glad you're gone. Which one was that?
Go ahead and say her name.
I would say it was the car loan.
Yeah.
Oh.
I would drive the car and be really...
Do you keep the car and paid it off?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so you still got the vet?
No.
Oh, no, that one's gone.
That
Okay.
one was gone.
That was gone, okay. So what kind of car?
It's a Chevy Bolt.
Okay.
Okay.
So
All right.
when that's gone, when that debt was gone, that's the big one. Yeah. I love it. I got a picture on YouTube here. I own the title to my car. There we go. Good. That's a fun feeling, man.
So
It very is. Well done. Well done. We got a copy of The Legacy Journey for you. That's the next chapter in your story to move on to that millionaire status. You are heading that direction, man. You'll be on our Millionaire Theme Hour before you know it. Our Everyday or Baby Steps Millionaires. Way to go. And, of course, another copy of The Total Money Makeover for you to give to someone. And maybe it'll be the first book they read in a while. And they'll stay up all night and read it. And it'll change their whole direction like it did for you. I'm so proud of you.
Thank you.
Very, very well done. Jonathan from West Lafayette. Is that Louisiana or Indiana?
Indiana.
Okay, cool. $74,000 paid off in 18 months, making 66 to 80. Count it down. Let's hear a debt-free scream.
3, 2, 1. I'm debt free!
Yeah! love it, man. I love it. Woo!
Hey, man.
Going along from clueless, send us some guys that say you can be a millionaire. Here's the book. Here's the pod. Send us some guys that say you can be a millionaire. Here's the book. Here's the podcast. Ding, ding. Walk the baby steps. Here we are. I love it.
Look at him.
So proud of you, Jonathan. Well done. This is the Ramsey Show. Anthony O'Neill, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today. Open phones at 888-825-5225. Brittany is in Knoxville. Hi, Brittany. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are y'all?
Better than we deserve. What's up?
So I am on baby steps 3B, saving for a down payment on a house. I'm currently a nurse, but I work Monday through Friday, so I'm trying to figure out a side hustle where I can make some extra money to eventually pay off the house early. And I'm wondering if it would be a good idea for me to start a photography business on the side.
Are you any good at photography?
I've not really had much practice, and currently I don't actually have a camera. I've been wanting to play around with my mom's a little bit, but...
So why photography then?
I've always liked photography itself. I like the idea of helping families make memories, that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I know when we took my senior pictures with my aunt, just like, coming up with poses and stuff, I had a lot of fun with that.
Okay. And your mom's camera is what? What is it a good enough camera to take some pictures with to get started?
I'm not sure. I think she got it in like 2013. So it's was a decent camera then, but it's pretty outdated. I would also definitely need a laptop because my laptop from college is shot. Mm-hmm. It doesn't really work anymore.
Yeah. And is your goal, Brittany, to generate extra income, or are you trying to start extra income to pay off debt, or are you trying to get extra income to, just because you want to have another hobby, a side business?
I would like to, like I said, I'm on baby steps 3B, so I want to save up for a down payment. And then my goal is to eventually, I'm 23, I'm single. I want to have a paid-for house by the time I have kids eventually.
Good. So what do you make?
So I can stay home. Yeah.
What do you make?
I make about $55,000.
And what do you want to spend on a camera and laptop?
It would be probably for that and like some SD cards and stuff. My budget would be $2,000.
Okay. And so if you take $2,000 in the middle of the table and light it on fire for a hobby, it does not keep you from hitting your goals.
Okay.
And so that's like your worst case scenario. In other words, you buy these things and it never amounts to squat. You don't make any money, but you got a nice camera and you got a nice laptop and you just did this for a hobby and you spent some of your house money to do that or some of your income money to do that. You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
Now, if you told me it's $20,000, I would say no.
Right, yeah.
Right.
Because as a ratio in your world, that's too stinking much money to burn.
Yeah.
Now, if you make $500,000 a year and you want to burn $20,000, we'll talk about it. But you see what I'm doing? I mean, we're just saying, does this keep you from hitting your goals by the time you're 30? No, it does not. And so it's okay at that budget amount to give this a try. I will tell you that from a business-only perspective, what I think you ought to do is you ought to check out Christy Wright and Business Boutique.
I was just about to say that.
And begin to think about how we're looking at this. This sounds like something you thought about over coffee and prayer one morning and you've actually never done at all, and all of a sudden now you're opening a business doing it. That's a bit of a leap.
Yeah.
And so I would rather you, before we actually set up shop, I'd rather you just go around and get some confirmation from people that you actually have an eye through that lens. And some people go, wow, I really like those shots, and maybe somebody would pay for that, or people go, ugh. Maybe you shouldn't do this.
And do some research on it too. YouTube is very good. If you're going to buy a camera, I would definitely jump on YouTube and see what's the best camera out there in your budget. People are doing reviews all the time. Set your budget and it be very clear, and then you say, hey, best camera under $500. You're going to find a lot of cameras that people are saying here's the good things. But I definitely will sit back and ask yourself, am I doing this because I really want to become a photographer, or am I doing this just because? And if you're trying to save money to buy a house, you can go drive for Uber, if it's a temporary fix, because I don't see you making a lot of money that quick on something you've never done before. But if you pick up an Uber job, delivering pizza, delivering groceries, picking up people groceries, you can make money instantly.
Yeah.
So I kind of
had the feeling this. I agree with you, but the way I went on it was it's more about scratching an itch than it was actually.
I got you. Then it's
making money.
Thing. I got you.
And
yes,
so
sir.
it's quasi hobby that might turn into some money.
I got you.
And
if that's the case,
if it does turn into money, we'll call that wonderful.
Yes, sir.
But what's it? How many pictures you got to take to get your $2,000 back? A lot.
Woo. Yeah.
Depending on, as a beginner photographer,
a lot of time because she got to get her skills up.
Yeah. Jean is with us. Jean's in Cincinnati. Hi, Jean. How are you?
I'm well. How are you?
Great. How can we help?
Great. It's wonderful to talk to you, and I appreciate having access to someone with wisdom and getting some great advice. So, I have a son, a daughter-in-law, 4 grandkids. And a number of years ago, I paid for my son and daughter-in-law to go through Dave Ramsey. And
you mean Financial Peace University?
That's right.
Okay.
And they even taught it at their church. But they are very duplistic. They're not living it. And the 4 children have not been taught Dave Ramsey. And they are 2 are teenagers and 2 are over 18. And so I'm seeing lots of issues, and talking isn't getting anywhere. What I need is I want my grandkids to learn Dave Ramsey. And so I want to compel them and have rewards along the way to have them do the steps. So I need some wisdom on your part on how to compel them to take Dave Ramsey without being pushy about it, having rewards along the way, as I said, and measurable. And so if you could give me some advice on how to do that, I would appreciate it.
What a wonderful heart you have to love your grandkids. And I told one of my friends the other day, and my kids all are they're not off the rails. They're on track, obviously. I'm real proud of them. But even in that case, they just do some things different than I would, obviously. And I think the most difficult stage of parenting is when you're not allowed to tell them what to do anymore because they grew up.
That's right.
And you have to watch them do stupid butt stuff. And it's aggravating. Even if it's something minor, and it just aggravates you. And so I think it's the hardest thing is the control. So let me just tell you what you just said as an example, because I was laughing to myself because it sounded like something I would do, because I'm going to make fun of you because I would do it too, okay? You said, how can I compel them without being pushy? The definition of compel is pushy, okay?
I understand. I know.
Yeah. You want to grab them up by the scruff of the neck and make them freaking behave is what you want to do, Grandma. I know you. You're just like me.
Yep.
You're absolutely right.
Yeah, and you can't because they're grown and they're not yours.
I know.
So here's what I have to do. I have to periodically, and my friends that are my age and your age facing these same exact things, I have to periodically stop, breathe. You remember the old thing when they catch on fire, stop, drop, and roll? You remember that? It's kind of like that. Okay, I have to stop, I have to breathe, and I have to go, I cannot talk to them like they're kin to me. I have to talk to them like they're my friend, or even my friend's kid, who I have no ability to compel to do anything. Instead, my only shot at moving them along is persuasion.
Okay.
That's your only shot, Grandma. Persuasion. And so you just sit down and take them to breakfast and you say, I love you more than life itself. And I've learned some stuff. And I wouldn't bring up Dave Ramsey. I think I'd leave Dave Ramsey out of this. I would just say common sense and say, I've learned some stuff. And because I love you, I'd love for you to know that stuff. Can I talk you into walking through it with me because I love you so much? That's compassion and persuasion. You're not going to compel anybody that's grown to do anything. They don't do it. This is The Ramsey Show. Have a friend or family member that needs a daily dose of Ramsey advice in their life? Let them know about the Ramsey Call of the Day podcast. It's a quick hit of advice about life and money in under 10 minutes. Check out the Ramsey Call of the Day podcast wherever you listen to podcasts. This is The Ramsey Show. You can be intentional about your character. You can have money and a career. You are the hero in your story. Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, broadcasting from the Dollar Car Rental Studios, it's The Ramsey Show, where debt is dumb, cash is king, and the paid-off home mortgage has taken the place of the BMW as the status symbol of choice. I'm Dave Ramsey, your host. Thank you for joining us. Anthony O'Neill, Ramsey personality, #1 best-selling author of the book Debt-Free Degree, and host of the ever-popular YouTube phenomenon called The Table, where they sit at the table, he and his guests, and discuss things going on in the world, including your money, your life, including how to be successful. And it's vastly popular. So be sure and join him on YouTube, and be sure and join him today and ask your question. The phone number, 888-825-5225. Josh is with us. Josh is in San Antonio. Hi, Josh. How are you?
I'm doing well, Dave. How are you doing today?
Better than I deserve. What's up?
So I'm a realtor with a crisis of conscience. Realtor, I also teach financial peace. I'm currently teaching my third class. And the thing I've come across, especially in these crazy times, is what do you do when you got these people that the lender's like, oh, you got to go get a credit card. Oh, you got to go do this debt. I've told people, look, there's other ways to do this. And I've lost business, and that's fine. God's taking care of my family. But how do you approach this as a real estate guy? You've been in this forever. Doing both sides. You're
talking about the go get a credit card to build your credit thing? Is that what you're talking about?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Then what you have to have is you need to find, how much volume do you do? How many houses a year do you sell?
I do about $2 million a year.
Okay.
Long story how my stuff floats. My family we've been debt free for a while, so we're not having to go out there and get every single deal and just do whatever. I try to do mine as biblically as possible, which is kind of hard to do sometimes.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. Well, I think that, what we had to do in the instance 20 plus years ago, 25 years ago with Churchill Mortgage was Mike Hardwick and I had to sit down and say, listen, if I'm going to send folks to Churchill Mortgage and tell people that I never say anything more than a 15-year fixed rate where the payment is more than a fourth of your take-home pay, and you need to be prepared to do manual underwriting because a lot of the people that do what I teach are not going to have a credit score, and so you can't tell people to go get a credit card when the lead I sent you just went through Financial Peace University and I told them to cut up their credit cards. So we can't be, it's inconsistent. And people get pissed off when you're inconsistent because it feels like a lack of integrity. So these are the discussions Mike and I had 25 years ago. And we've had them a few times since then over the years as he's grown and he buys another mortgage company in another city and he has to teach them, our way of looking at things, because if I send leads over there, they get mad.
Yeah.
And you got the same thing. It's not just a crisis of confidence. It's conscience, but it's they're looking at us like we like we lied or something, And so, what I would tell you to do is begin to develop just on a local level a relationship with a mortgage broker, a mortgage company that, or maybe just an underwriter at one of the companies, or a loan originator that's just got, they get it. They go through Financial Peace University. Maybe you pay for it or whatever. And so that you can get aligned on, when I send a customer over there, I don't want to hear that you told them to go get a credit card.
Right.
Or I can't send you that business.
Yeah.
And so, because I can't, it's inconsistent and it, it's, standard operating procedure in the mortgage business won't work for me, and it won't work for you, Josh. Now, you're not saying I have trouble telling them to get a mortgage, because that we all, while we believe the best thing is the 100% down plan, we calm down a little bit and allow a 15-year in our guidelines, knowing that, with the idea though that they're going to get it paid off soon, right?
Correct.
Yeah. So that's not your not your crisis.
And I've actually had to walk away from business. I think the past 2 years, I've probably walked away from about $1.5 million in volume just because it wasn't going to be a good fit. And I didn't want to be the realtor to look back on going, it's your fault I did this deal. I don't care about that. It's better to let them go.
You just have to, somehow you have to position yourself in the customer's mind that you're coaching them, not just selling them a house.
Correct. Okay.
And I think, and when you got a customer that's crazy and they won't allow that, then they're not a customer.
Exactly. Let them go. Let them go. And then just lead with your heart, man. Just lead with your heart. Lead with the coaching. Lead with the guidance. And I think that will honestly eventually earn you more volume because I love my real estate agent who's part of our program. And as a guy who teaches it, he's always holding me accountable. Hey, Anthony, did you check your budget? Is that less than 25%? And I love that because I know his heart is in the right place. So I would just say, just lead with your heart, lead with the guidance, lead with the coaching. And I believe eventually it will bring you more guidance down the road. Not guidance, but more volume.
Yeah, I mean, God's going to bless the intent of your heart here. That's what it amounts to. So I think the thing you want to be careful of, and in my seat I have to be careful of it as well, is to be persuasive and winsome, not legalistic.
Yes.
And be persuasive on the principles and say, this is why.
Yeah.
Listen, man, you're acting like you're gonna get a loan here. You're not going to be able to breathe, and I'm worried about you.
Yeah.
I think it's going to leave you in a bad place, and I think you got a little bit of house fever. I think you need to go home and take a cold shower. We need to rethink, if I was your older brother, if I was your dad, I would tell you, son, don't do this. And so I'm going to do that because I care about you. And if you're hell bent on driving your car off the cliff, you're going to do it by yourself because I'm not going to participate in that.
Dave, but what you just said is 10 times better than a regular guy who's trying to get his 3%. Oh yeah, do whatever you want to do. Let me just get the money.
Yeah. When somebody's got house fever, and they're hell bent on doing something stupid, and getting a loan that's 55% of their take home pay, which they can get approved for on an adjustable rate mortgage, that's going to ding them in a year and a half, right? Because it starts in the hole on the index, and they're going to come out. They're going to come out at 55%. Then they're going to be looking at 63% the next year, and they're just hell bent on self destruction because they got the fever and they need that jacuzzi with a skylight. And you can't stop stupid when it's on a train track heading off the cliff.
Can't stop.
And so all you can do is get out of the way and just wave the cape and go ole, and just good luck with this, because I've tried to stop stupid and my own friends. You have too.
Yes.
And they look at you with one eye.
Yeah.
And the other eye is looking off somewhere else.
Yes.
It's weird.
Yeah.
It's like they're possessed.
And then when they do the stupid and they realize it's stupid, then they want to come back and apologize for the stupidity. I'm like, no, don't apologize now.
Yeah.
Live with it.
You didn't hurt me.
Nope.
It was you.
It's
I was
your
trying
fault.
to save you.
Yeah. I'm not stupid.
Not as much as I used to be.
Right.
This is the Ramsey Show.
We were drawn to Christian Healthcare Ministries because we both had young families and we wanted to have more children. And we had also just started a real estate company and needed to find healthcare coverage that would meet our needs. We were attracted to CHM because of its low monthly costs and the ability to negotiate medical costs down.
Established in 1981 and accredited by the Better Business Bureau, CHM is here to meet the needs of your growing family or small business. Check us out at chministries.org/budget.
We absolutely believe in it.
Anthony O'Neill, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today. You can join us here at 888-825-5225. Here at Ramsey Solutions, we're on a mission to transform so many lives. The disruption in this toxic culture spreads like wildfire. What's that mean? It means imagine a world where it's weird to have a student loan instead of everybody has one. Imagine a world where it's normal to pay cash for your car or even your house, where the credit card is looked at as the cigarette of the financial world. Now imagine being part of our team that's on a mission to make all of that a reality. And you're working at it every day, work that matters, actually helping people. We've got just under 1,000 folks working on our team, 996 this week, to create digital products, services that transform people's lives. Our goal is to disrupt this toxic culture. Whether it's career, whether it's mental health, whether it's money, whatever it is. Success. If you want to join us on this crusade, we're on the hunt for software engineers with expertise in Ruby on Rails, Java, C#, front-end technologies. If you're a UX designer, SEO, and content marketing specialist, we'd love to talk to you. And we've got about 300 positions total, not all of them technology, that are available. And we're going to hire this year. So find out about all of it by texting WORK to 33789. Text WORK to 33789. And you can find out about the opportunities to join us here at Ramsey. We would love to have you. D'Artagnan is with us, and he is in Kansas. Hey, D'Artagnan, what's up?
Hi, Ramsey. It's great to talk to you.
You too. How can we help?
So I'm currently in my penultimate semester of college. In this fall, I anticipate I'll have to pay between $1,500 and $3,000 out of pocket. I have a $9,000 car note that I want to get rid of, and I recently got rid of investments that I had because after listening to you, I've realized I shouldn't have investments when I'm in debt. So how should I distribute this $8,000 of investments that I've recently just acquired into my bank account between living, paying off my car, and then the anticipated money I'll have to spend for tuition this fall for my last semester?
So you have one semester?
Currently in my second class this summer, and then in the fall I'll be in my last.
Okay.
And that's total of $3,000, from if I heard you correctly?
For tuition, yes, that I have remaining that I'll have to pay out of pocket.
All right. How are you eating? What are you doing for rent, food, and so forth?
For rent in the fall, I'll be paying about $350 total, split between my girlfriend and I. So I'll be paying $350 myself, and then I spend about $150 on food each month because I eat beans and rice pretty much every day.
How are you paying for all that?
Mm-hmm.
I have a job, so I live in Kansas City, but I go to school in Manhattan. So when I'm in school, I'll be living in Manhattan, but I commute to Kansas City because I work 30-hour shifts because I'm a caretaker. So I just work 30-hour shifts and then go back to Manhattan.
What do you make at your job?
At that job, I have another job, but I work PRN there. At the job that I'm speaking to you about, I would make $11 an hour.
Okay. Okay, so I guess the first goal is pay cash for finishing school. Yeah, and that includes the tuition, and that includes your living expenses. Now, you've got two sources to do that. That's why I'm asking all these questions. You have the income that you have coming in, and you have the $8,000, right?
Yes, and through the end of the summer, I anticipate I'll make another $3,500 between the hours I'm working at both jobs this summer.
Good.
So we're looking at about.
So what's your budget for the fall then? You need $3,000 for tuition, and how much to finish the fall up? Another $5,000?
Probably somewhere around there. Probably a little less because I don't spend that much on food or living expenses outside of rent.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay. So that's the $8,000, and you got $3,500 more. So you got a little bit of pad, but you don't have an extra $15,000 laying around.
How much is your car note?
About $9,000 less.
What's the note a month?
Oh, it's about $225.
Okay.
Yeah, that's in there too.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think the car's going to get paid off after you graduate, and you're going to use the money from the summer and the money from the sale of the investments to make sure you graduate.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, it's going to take you almost all of that, but I mean, you may end up with $3,000 or $4,000 laying around by the time you graduate. It sounds like you're going to. I hope you do. Maybe $5,000 laying around. But when you graduate and get the full-time regular job and you settle into an adult process rather than a college process, then I would reach over and start your baby steps and actually pay off the car. Right now, I'm just trying to get you out of school without debt. Do you see something different?
No. I don't, Dave. That's why I was asking. I knew he had $9,000. I just want to make sure his monthly bills wasn't straining him with this $3,000 and another $5,000 coming. So that's why I was just trying to make sure. But I don't see nothing different at all. Only thing I would add is, I'm a little concerned. What if something happens between you and your young lady and y'all got to go separately, and then your housing goes up? But I'm agreeing with you, Dave.
Yeah, it sounds like you got $8,000 plus $3,500, and you need somewhere around $8,000. So you've got somewhere around a $4,000 pad, give or take, the way things are laid out today, just to get through. It's not a bunch of money, but at least you've got a little bit of wiggle room without debt. That's the main thing. I want to get you out of school with no more debt.
Exactly.
And then we can go back and clean up the car later when you actually start with the adult job and so forth. That's what we call it, I guess. Post-college
Post-college job.
There we go.
That's a good question, though.
Our question of the day comes from Blinds.com. Find out for yourself why they are such a wonderful company that I've endorsed for over a decade. They're the #1 online retailer of custom window coverings with free samples, free shipping, and they always have new promos. Be sure you use the promo code Ramsey to get the best deal at Blinds.com.
Let me get the question, Dave.
All right. Oh, you're going to get it from me?
Yeah.
Okay.
Today's question comes from Nicole in Pennsylvania. She says, I'm a 32-year-old woman. I am currently in baby step number 2. I have about $20,000 in debt and will pay that off when I receive the proceeds from the sale of my home. I will also put money aside for my fully funded emergency fund, completing baby step 3. My question is this, Dave. After I start putting 15% aside for retirement, should I focus on building wealth as a single mom without children? I'm 32 years old. I'm currently baby step number 2.
Sorry, you read that wrong. You can't be a single mom without children. You wouldn't be a mom.
Should I focus on building a wealth as a single woman without children?
Oh, a single woman, not a single mom. Okay. You can't be a mom without kids. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
I was so confused there. All right. All right. So, yeah, why not? I mean, the goal here, the goal of the baby steps is to cause you to build wealth.
Yeah, I don't see anything else here.
Getting out of debt is so that you have control of your most powerful wealth building tool, which is your income.
Yep.
And all the data that we have says that if you get out of debt, you are going to become wealthy faster than if you screw around with debt. It's pretty simple.
Yeah.
It's 30 years of doing this. So the goal is to build wealth. So single woman, single mom, single guy, married couple, whatever. Grandma, grandpa, little 19-year-old getting started. The goal is build wealth.
Yeah, and you're already doing that by putting aside 15%. That's how you start. So I want you said after I start putting aside 15%. No, putting aside 15% is the beginning process of building wealth long term.
Yeah, and then the next question is, with money you have above that 15%, do you want to just invest even more, or do you want to start saving towards a house?
Yeah,
that's the only two options there in the baby steps, but both of those move you towards wealth.
Exactly.
Owning a home is going to move you towards wealth, and as long as you do it properly and it doesn't become a curse, right?
Yeah.
But there's no requirement that anyone buy a home at any certain stage. Somewhere along the line, you want to buy one.
Yes.
But right now, you're a single lady making money, and you want to just pile it up and build you up a big old honking mutual fund, and look over there, and I got $500,000. It makes me feel good. Do it.
Yeah.
Have at it, girl. Get it. Get it. Woo. Anthony O'Neill, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today. I'm Dave Ramsey. Open phones at 888-825-5225. Now, you've heard me talking about timeshares for many years. We're going to be doing another timeshare show talking about America's largest legalized fraud very soon. If you have been a customer of a timeshare, or you're currently a timeshare owner, former owner or current owner, we are conducting a new survey where we want your thoughts and opinions and your experience with the timeshare industry. Text the word timeshare to 33789 and you can participate in this research study. Text timeshare to 33789. Also, if you want to be a part of the radio show as we're discussing this, we want to hear your stories about how you've been screwed over by the timeshare business. And we want to hear from you. If you want to share your story about the timeshare business, about your experience with getting trapped in one of these tiger cages, and they say, pet the tiger, we'll give you a free night. We'll give you a free tickets to the show, tickets to the water park, whatever the crap. And you get in there, and maybe you've been stuck in one of these things for years and can't get out of it, and you've experienced this. We want to hear from you. We want to hear your story. We want to give you the opportunity to tell your story on the air for 22 million people. But we need to hear from you right now. If you want to be on the air and tell your story, we need you to email daveonair@ramseysolutions.com. daveonair, one word, no spaces, at ramseysolutions.com. Put timeshare in the subject line. Put a little bit about your story and how we can get in touch with you, and Kelly will get in touch with you. We're not going to tell you what to say. We're just going to line up the time for you to call, to be able to call you, get you on the air, and make you part of that hour where we're discussing the timeshare business. We want to hear your story. America needs to hear your story. daveonair@ramseysolutions.com. Put timeshare in the subject line. We'll get back to you. Sarah's with us in Austin, Texas. Hi, Sarah. Welcome to the Ramsey Show.
Hey, how are you guys?
Great. How can we help?
Well, my husband and I found you less than a month ago, and I want to thank you guys for lighting a fire under us. When I was 18, I was ready to get out of the house, and I applied for colleges. I toured many, but my mother told me that if I didn't go to this certain one, I wouldn't go. So that put me in debt about $46,000. My husband and I, he's in a doctorate program for physical therapy. It's about $150, and that would be our debt. I want to break the legacy of my family. I'm the first woman in my family to graduate college, and I want to continue growing that legacy with no debt and just being wealthy. And when it comes down to it, I'm just angry at my mother, and I feel a moral obligation to pay my student loans, but I selfishly don't feel like it's all on me, and I just need advice. And you probably telling me that I'm being a selfish brat.
No, I wouldn't say that.
That's how I feel, kind of.
Yeah, I understand. What's your household income?
Right now, it would be, we make about $44,000 a month. Not 44,000, 4,400 a month. And my husband will be making more. He graduates in December, but he's in school full time right now.
Okay, and he's going to be getting a degree in what?
Physical therapy.
Okay, so he'll be making 70 or 80 grand.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, and so you're going to go from a $50,000 income to a $120,000 income, and you got $180,000 between you in student loan debt. Does your mom have a lot of money?
No.
Okay.
No.
So what part of you being mad at her makes her have money? Because if she didn't have money, she can't pay this even if she wanted to.
Right. So here's what we agreed on, and maybe this is why I'm mostly upset with her, is because she said that she would be paying off the loans for, I guess, the rest of her life. And because I was 18, I didn't even think about it. And I was like, okay, sure, yeah. So I got married. And so I just didn't even think about my student loans being a part of my debt. And so I was talking to her because we're having to move for his clinicals. And she was basically saying, so whenever, you guys get higher paying jobs, you can, start paying off your debt. And she's right. It just makes me angry because I didn't even want to go to
So she forgot the part where she promised to pay it.
Exactly.
Yeah, and that does make you angry. And she, in her ignorance, given that she did not go to college, you said, she drove you to go to a college that you really couldn't afford.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it was a private Christian school, so it was ridiculously expensive.
And if I heard this thing correctly, your husband is still in school, right? And so
yes, he has about 3 months left.
Right. So I'm not even worried about paying back my mom just yet. That's not even a consideration.
It's not her mom. She has the student loan.
I mean, yeah. So here's my thing. I'm focusing on getting my husband out of school without racking up any more debt.
Right.
That's what I'm going to focus on.
But when they graduate, should she go to her mom to have her mom pay for this?
If her mom said, yes, I'm going to talk to my dad and my parents, like, hey, listen, this is what we agreed upon, don't change now because, I've been able to up my income. I'm having a serious, respectful, but firm conversation because this is not what we agreed to do. But yes, I'm having a conversation. But outside of that, if she says no, Dave, you're going to have to pay for it. Yeah, I will be prepared to pay for it.
How old are you?
I just turned 25.
Okay. Mm-hmm. I kind of think I'm hearing between the sentences that this behavior of inconsistency with your mom is a pattern more than just this singular event.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
So it's kind of like that part of growing up where you look over and you realize my mom's really not right on some of these things.
No.
That part of where you grow up and you realize my parents really are not. And then you go, okay, I'm going to let them be parents anyway. I'm still going to forgive them and I'm going to move on. I don't think your mom has $40,000, so I don't think the discussion matters much, except it just hurts your feelings.
Yeah, I'm afraid you're right.
Yeah, I'm not saying you're a brat. I think you have a valid reason. She made you a promise that she didn't keep.
Right.
And led you astray but it wasn't out of malice. She didn't, let's run my daughter deeply in debt and run her life. She didn't, that was not her goal. Her goal was she did the best she could do recommending that school because she had never been to school and she thought that was the best way to do it.
Right.
So she was an enthusiastic ignoramus.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, it was not malice. She certainly didn't set out to hurt you. Agreed?
Right, for sure.
Yeah, she just didn't know what she was doing because you're first generation college. And that's where we run into the most student loan debt. Anthony and I have talked about this a lot. It's both it's socioeconomic, but it's regional, it's racial, it's a lot of things. We see it in all the demographics when we study the student loan stuff. But it's any time, regardless of what area of the country, your biggest mistakes in what the field of study is and where you go to school and how much student loan debt you go into are the parents trying to go, I didn't get an education, you got to get one, I have no idea how to do it, but education's everything, and everybody goes and overspends. for the wrong thing. And that this first generation college does it the worst. That's the ones that get screwed over the most. And so that's where you are. You kind of fit in that thing. I think the best route for where do you end up with the best life for you at 30? I don't think she can pay it. I don't think you holding her to it is going to cause anything to change in her.
Yeah.
And so probably just a good relationship with your mom and call it and just go, this sucks, and I'm going to pay it. Ooh. I'm going to get rid of it. I don't think I'm going to bother her with it because I don't think she can pay it, and I don't think she set out to harm you at all. She just didn't know what the flip she was doing. And so, and she's a little ditzy and a little bit doesn't follow through, and that's aggravating, and I get that. But I just let her be mom and move on. This is The Ramsey Show. $180,000 in student loans the last lady had with her husband. She had 40 and he had 140, or she had 30 and he had 150, whatever it was, and it's just a pile of money. If you haven't checked out the student loan crisis is of epic proportions. The stupidity has gone into the stratosphere with this thing. We did a podcast series on it called Borrowed Future that millions of people have downloaded and listened to. And Anthony's a tip of the spear on that thing, put it all together with our team. And if you haven't listened to it, Uncovering the Student Loan Crisis, it's obviously free, and you need to listen to the Borrowed Future podcast. Little teaser, there might be something in the works a little further on Borrowed Future coming soon to some screens near you. We'll let you know more later, but I've gotten to do some of the previews on it, and it's I am so impressed with our team.
Yes, I am too. They made me look real good, Dave.
They did. They made you look really. I mean, you're smart, but they made you even look smarter than you are.
Absolutely.
Wow. The bit with anyway, you can get a lot of the information on the current podcast, and then we're going to get you some more soon in a new format. And what I was telling her a minute ago, I think it's worth you and I unpacking for a minute, because we've talked about it on air and off both. When you started digging into the student loan crisis, and our team started really doing the research into it and started breaking it down, we see people that pay too much.
Yes. Pick the wrong school.
They pick the wrong school. They pick a degree
that has no profit.
That has no career possibilities equal to what they paid, meaning there's no ROI, no return on investment on this level of education. And so, if you can become a high school math teacher for $12,000 a year at your local state school tuition, which is what the state schools average right now. Yep. Or you can spend $50,000 a year for exactly the same job. And if you were going to go into debt, we'd say it's $200,000 versus $40,000.
Yes. Yes.
We're not going to tell you to go into debt, but when you just compare those two things right there, for the exact same career field,
right?
It's asinine.
It definitely is.
What people have been led to do and chosen to do.
Yeah, Dave. And another thing that I've learned is people are, and I'm going to say this respectfully, they're lazy. They don't want to step back and do the research and see what are the programs and the opportunities out there. You're talking about 40,000. Let's go even a little bit deeper, Dave. If you go to like one of the schools, let's say UNC Wilmington, UNC Pembroke, you can actually, if you get accepted into the school, you will only pay $500 up in one of their programs a semester. So that's $1,000 a year, $4,000 for a bachelor's degree to become a school teacher.
Yeah.
But people do not want to step back and do the research. Know what they want to do if they're in North Carolina. They want to go to Chapel Hill. They want to go to Duke. They want to go to these big names, which is nothing wrong with it. But they think if I go to Duke, I'll be a better school teacher than going to UNC Pembroke.
No. Not.
You know, you get in the same education, go to the same school, getting paid the same money, but you pay 10 times more than actually stepping back and doing the research and picking the right school that's going to elevate you, give you the education, which is important, but what is your long-term gain?
Yeah. So here's the warning for you guys out there. Whether you're the student that's watching us maybe on YouTube and you're thinking of going into college in the future, you're 17, 18, 16, 19, whatever in that age group, or whether you're the parent. The thing that Anthony and I have seen where the largest mistakes happen, I mentioned to her earlier, it was her mom didn't know anything about higher education.
Facts. Yeah.
Because she hadn't gone to college, and there's no shame in that, but it's like buying a car and you've never owned one.
Yeah.
And you go, well, you need to get a Bentley. You ought to get a Mercedes because I heard they're really good. But I've never owned a car. I've never even driven a car.
That's a good example.
And so, but I heard they're really good.
Yeah.
I heard those Mercedes are really good cars. Yeah, well, I ain't got any money, but I'm going to go sign up for a Chevrolet because I'm going to go sign up for a Bentley or a Mercedes instead of a Chevrolet because my mom or dad has never been there. So mom and dad, if you didn't go to school, there is zero shame in that. As a matter of fact, it might just be awesome that you didn't go to school. You're not in debt. Life is good, right? But if your kid is getting ready to go to school, get some people in your corner that have have a 4-year degree, that have made some of the mistakes maybe, that aren't thinking like society is thinking, like our broken culture is thinking, because otherwise you could really screw up your kid.
Yeah.
By two things. One is allowing them to pay too much, and two is allowing them to study left-wing feminism or something, and then all of a sudden you've got no ability to get a job because there's no such thing as a job for that.
Yeah.
And you can study it if you want to study it, but whatever the thing is, left-handed puppetry, BB stacking, I don't know, whatever thing it is we want to make fun of that is a useless freaking degree, and then you pay $200,000 in debt to get a useless freaking degree. This most often happens in first generation where the college, where their parents did not go to school. When you and I first started looking at this, we had the hypothesis that it was more racial because you were seeing a lot of people in the black community that were having this exact problem. And you kept going, this is my people, and this is a problem. And I kept going, is it really a racial thing? And then we dove into the numbers and we went, but black people whose parents went to school, went to college, aren't making that mistake. It turns out it's not a racial thing at all. It's mostly, the data tells us, as we've studied this and researched it, that regardless of your skin color, it is your propensity to do something really, really damaging to yourself because your parents didn't know how to guide you through it.
Absolutely.
And give you bad advice.
Here's the thing, what I'm learning about the second generation, Dave, is the first generation parent goes to school, and then the parent says, all right, I want you to go to my school, because if you go to my school, you'll get better network. You get a better network to go get your dream job. So then you go to your parent's school and rack up all this debt just so I can meet Dave Ramsey. And hopefully Dave Ramsey can connect me to another place to get a job, which I think that is completely false as well. Now, networking is important.
Yeah, but you don't need to go. You don't need to spend $50,000 to get a network.
No,
that's asinine.
No,
it's ridiculous. So, the thing is this. So I'm second generation. My mom and dad did not go to college.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm first generation. My kids are second generation.
Right.
They went to my school.
Yeah.
But I did not send them there for the network.
Right.
I didn't even send them there because I was romantically involved with the school like I love the University of Tennessee.
And you didn't make them go there.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I did. Absolutely.
I didn't know that.
Absolutely. I did.
That's good to know.
I told them they had to go to an in-state school.
Yeah. So
and that's like the choice. I mean, it was MTSU, Middle Tennessee State University, East Tennessee State University, or the University of Tennessee.
And neither
pretty well, University of Tennessee, Knoxville, University of Tennessee, Chattanooga,
right.
Memphis State, right? I mean, these are your schools you're going to go to in-state tuition because I'm not going to pay out-of-state tuition. And if you and I do not find any piece of data that says where you went to school is correlated with your success.
Okay.
I can't find that anywhere.
That's good.
Education is important. Where you got it, turns out there's not a single piece of research that says you're more successful if you went to Harvard.
Right.
You can't find it.
You can't.
It's mythology.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Seth Godin calls it in Borrowed Future. He doesn't call them prestigious schools. He calls them famous schools.
Yeah, that's it.
They become famous.
Any school
but
can
they're
become
not necessarily better. They're just famous.
Right.
Oh, my kid went to such and such and such. And you paid how much to be able to make that one stupid sentence?
Yeah, man.
Oh, my God. It's unbelievable.
We got to talk, Dave, offline, though. You made your kids go to a school.
I made them go to an in-state school, and I was paying for it, so I get the right to decide where you're going.
That's right. I give you that.
I have this weird thing. I think I'm in charge.
Hey, it's Kelly, associate producer and phone screener for The Ramsey Show. If you would like to do your debt-free scream live on the show, make sure you visit theramseyshow.com and register. We would love for you to come to Nashville and tell Dave your story.
This is The Ramsey Show. You can be intentional about your character. You can have money and a career. You are the hero in your story. Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, broadcasting from the Dollar Car Rental Studios, it's The Ramsey Show, where debt is dumb, cash is king, and the paid-off home mortgage has taken the place of the BMW as the status symbol of choice. I'm Dave Ramsey, your host. Anthony O'Neill, Ramsey personality, #1 best-selling author of the book Debt-Free Degree, is my co-host. Open phones here as we talk about your life and your money. The phone number is 888-825-5225. That's 888-825-5225. Mike starts off this hour in Dallas, Texas. Hey, Mike, how are you?
I am doing good. Thanks for taking my call.
Sure. What's up?
So my question is, my wife and I just finished baby step 3. And so in looking into my retirement account at work, I have a 401k, and I discovered that I can either do it as pre-tax or a Roth. And so I was wanting to find out, is there a difference between a Roth 401k versus the Roth IRA, and which is, the better? Should I do both or just one?
That's a good question. Is there a match with your Roth 401k?
Yes, my work matches 6%.
Yeah, so what we teach here is always going to be match, Roth, then traditional. So I'm going with your matched Roth 401k before a Roth IRA.
But that's because of the match, not because of the Roth. They're both Roths, meaning they both will grow without taxes on the growth. Mm-hmm. So a Roth IRA grows exactly like a Roth 401k. Obviously, the 401k has a handful of options, and the IRA has 8,000 mutual funds you can choose from. That would be your main difference. But if your 401k has good, strong mutual fund options, certainly do the match first, what Anthony was saying. But then beyond that, if you want to say, do I continue there in the Roth 401k unmatched portion, or do I do a personal Roth? It won't matter if you picked exactly the same mutual funds, you'd have exactly the same results. So if you've got good funds in your 401k, which most do these days, then you're fine to just use your 401k to get to your 15% in baby step 4.
Okay.
That makes sense to you?
Yeah, and it's with one of the big firms, and it's got some pretty good options in there for me.
Yeah, it makes it real simple to not have to do the personal one. But now, what's your household income?
Right around $115 a year.
Okay, so you can get to 15% of your household income within your 401k.
Yes.
Yeah. And without maxing it out or anything. So you don't have to do the personal. And as long as you got good options, I would just do that from a simplicity standpoint.
Easy.
It just makes it real easy. You don't have to think about it. It's autopilot. It's coming out of your check. Life goes on. Good question. Yeah. Brittany's in Connecticut. Hey, Brittany, welcome to the Ramsey Show.
Hi, Dave. It's nice to talk to you guys today.
You too. How can we help?
I just have, I have a fairly general question, but with intricate details, I guess. My question more or less is, what more can I do? My husband and I are on baby step 2. We actually bought a house in March and then started your program. And in April, he left for a 6-month training in Virginia. So we were putting everything extra that we can towards our debts. We've paid off about $17,000 so far.
Good.
He door dashes and he does full time down there, so he gets a per diem and everything. I work 2 part-time jobs, adding up to about $15 an hour, and I run a very small business out of our home. And I take care of a 2-year-old at home. And I just don't know what more I can do to help towards it. I feel like he's doing so much and he's away. I get to see him once or twice a month at the moment, but just any advice on what more we can do, I guess.
So, Brittany, what's your total amount of debt?
Total was $25,000. We've paid about 13 off so far. Did I say 17? One of those.
You paid off 13 since when?
Since March, end of March.
Y'all are grinding.
We've sold everything we can.
Well, at that rate, you'll be done in 3 months.
Yeah.
We're hoping.
I'm talking about mathematically. Mm-hmm. It's not hoping.
Oh yeah. Well, we had the anything we got back from taxes and stuff.
So how much are you paying on the debt a month?
About $3,000.
Oh, $3,000. You're not going to be done in 3 months then. Okay.
Yeah. No. Hopefully by Christmas.
More like 8 months. Okay.
Yeah. But if we anything extra he makes during DoorDash or I make with my little side stuff, we try to throw towards it.
So let me say this on an encouraging side, Brittany, because I hear the passion in your heart. I want to help more. I want to help more. This is what we teach here at Ramsey: is be intentional, get a plan, live below your means, and throw everything at it. And if you're doing those 4 things, which it sounds like, we could dive in a little bit deeper to see what else you could do. But I really want you to hear this, and even everyone listening as well, that once you're doing all those 4 things, the next step from there is just keep that going and be patient throughout this journey. Putting $3,000 towards this debt, you all are already doing great. You've knocked out 13 or 17, whichever one that you did. That's phenomenal. I mean, that's phenomenal. People who make more money than you call into the show and don't knock out that much money within that amount of time. So I want you to hear that what you and your husband are doing right now is great. But can we add some more? We can dive into some numbers and see that there. But I just wanted to start off this conversation by, hey, you're doing a great job thus far. But let's see what else we can do.
Yeah, you got the hustle part. Now next step is the grind part, and you're feeling the grind. Because this is hard.
Yeah, we're just trying. We look forward to the day we can come to our debt-free scream.
It's hard. But, I mean, you guys are working like animals.
Yeah.
You're not spending a dime. You're completely game on. You're as gazelle intense as you can be. It's hard. What you're doing is hard. And it is a grind. That's why they call it hustle and grind, right? I mean, it's hard. Mm-hmm. So I'm with Anthony. I think you're doing a really, really good job, and I think in 7 or 8 months you're going to be done. So all you're looking for all the time, there's no magic wand. There's no magic pill. You're just looking for, where can I cut expenses? Where can I increase income? Where can I cut expenses? Where can I increase income? And every time you do that by $5, one direction or the other, that $5 is going to increase the speed at which you get out of debt. And now that you've stopped the stupid, and now that you've pointed yourself at a plan, and now that you're submitted to that plan and you're wide open on that plan, you're going to get there. You are on your way. You're going to get there. And you're probably going to be there by Christmas of this year. You may not quite make it, but I think you might. I think you might be done by Christmas. And you'll be standing out in the front yard yelling, "Merry Christmas!" People will be going, "That woman lost her mind." No, she's debt-free, baby. Exactly. She's been hustling. She's been grinding. She hasn't lost her mind at all. The rest of you people have lost your minds. This is The Ramsey Show. Hey folks, I got a great option to help you pay for your education. The Army National Guard. The Army National Guard believes you are the next greatest generation because you have proven that even in adversity, that you have what it takes to succeed. That's why they offer benefits like tuition assistance, career training, and a paycheck to help you avoid debt. No matter what your goals are, the Army National Guard can help you get there. Visit NationalGuard.com to find out more. How many of you guys are stressed out or you're hurting because you took a major hit during COVID of last year? You're worried maybe about your investments, your retirement. Maybe you're wondering what it's going to take to catch up. Maybe you lost some ground. Maybe you got out at exactly the wrong time. Maybe you got in at exactly the right time. I don't know. But if you pulled everything out and now you're wondering where you should go from here, listen, if you're in one of these situations, I want you to know you don't have to face the pain, the uncertainty alone. You can sit down with a conscientious investment pro like one of our SmartVestor pros. They're not going to tell you to invest in something dumb like gold. They're going to tell you to spend a ton of time looking at your current, they're going to spend a ton of time looking at your current situation, help you create a plan to get you where you want to go. You don't have to let 2020 kill your confidence. Go to RamseySolutions.com/SmartVestor to find an investment pro in your area. RamseySolutions.com/SmartVestor. I'm Dave Ramsey, your host. Anthony O'Neill, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today. Carol is with us in Phoenix. Hi, Carol. How are you?
Hi, I'm good. How are you?
Better than I deserve. What's up?
So I'm paying my son's student loans, which
Why?
is my choice. My parents paid for my college, so I just feel I should pay for his. So it's my choice, and I'm willing to do that. I only have $5,600 left. However, the company that he works for pays $100 a month towards his student loans as well. So my question is, should I just pay it off and be done with it, or should I continue to let them pay $100 a month towards the student loans?
Can you do both? I mean, because $100 a month, that's $1,200 a year. That's 4 years. Like, can you just go ahead and just pay it off yourself and just take the $100 extra as well as you're paying it off?
I can do that. I mean, like I said, I could pay it all off right now, or
Oh, you have the money to pay it off today. The whole thing.
I do.
Oh, yeah. And then you would miss the benefit. I see.
Correct. So I have two little Daves on each shoulder. One, a good one saying, pay it off. Another one
what is
saying,
how much money do you have? What's your net worth?
Total probably about Almost 900,000.
Well, the way I answer questions on this show is if I woke up in your shoes, what would I do? Okay. So you're a millionaire.
Okay.
Way to go.
Mm-hmm.
And do you worry about $5,000? No, you don't. You wanted to pay for his education, you write a check and you pay for it. Don't worry about it.
Okay.
It's not.
Okay.
If it was a $50,000 swing out of 900, it might get my attention.
Right.
It's half of a percent of your world. 1/2 of 1% of your whole financial world, right?
Right.
It's irrelevant.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so, it's not, again, if it was 50 grand, we might say, okay, take the benefit, set the money aside, and then when the benefit pays it all off, then you can release that money. But I'm just not going to screw with it for $5 grand in your situation. I'm going to be done with it. Write a check, be done with it, clear it.
Yeah, that's 5 years too. That's my scary part.
Yeah.
Will my son be
and
there
is he
for
still
5
going to
years?
even be working there 5 years from now? And we're screwing around with all this for $100.
Exactly.
It's not worth the effort.
That's not even covering the interest.
Yeah, that's yeah, good question. Cindy's in Chicago. Hi, Cindy. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. How are you today?
Better than I deserve. How can we help?
Well, I have a bit of a housing question. I am, and I'll try to be as succinct as I can. I'm 60 years old, have been retired for 3 years. Just got called in from an old boss that wants me to come back into the workforce, probably about $150K a year. But the position is 6 hours away from here. So, do I rent a house? Am I insane to even think about it?
Are you married?
Yes. Okay. We have, and he's good to go. I mean, he's fine.
So it'd be both of you going. This is like an adventure.
Yeah, it could be an adventure, but I don't really want to, in this market, I'm kind of scared to buy a house for 2 to 3 years.
Yeah. Oh, I agree.
And I don't really want to do it now. So I'm like.
So do I.
Where would you be living?
Columbus, Ohio.
Okay. And how long would this gig last, do you think?
It's a startup business, and I love building things, starting things. So, I mean, I told him I'm not going to be there 10 years because I'll be 70. So that ain't happening. But I would do maybe 2 to 5.
Mm-hmm. Okay, let's call it 5. You're 65. And the gig is up, and you made $600 grand.
And my husband's 72.
Okay. Is that where you want to spend the next 5 years in Columbus, Ohio?
Yeah, I don't know. I need to go there yet.
And where do you? And after that's over, where do you want to be living?
It doesn't matter. I don't have any.
Okay. So I think what I want to do is I want to aim at where you want to be living 10 years from now, and that might answer your question, or 7 years from now. Okay. We want to be living in Florida. I'm just making this up, okay?
Yeah.
Well, you sell the property in Chicago, you move to Columbus, you rent until you get this gig done, and then you move to Florida and you buy your retirement place.
Okay, so rent would be a...
Yeah, but if you're going to stay in Columbus after the gig is over because you just love Columbus, and we want to watch the sunset there in the end of our life, then that's cool. Go ahead and start talking about making a purchase there.
Okay. But I could, like, at least the first year or so, just hang out and rent.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that at all.
Okay.
What a cool thing. It's kind of fun. It's kind of fun to feel that valuable, right?
I was just sitting on my deck, having a glass of wine, enjoying my night, and there it happened.
Yeah. You know what? I think I'd ask for more just to see if he'd give it.
Okay. I think I will.
Just because this is all just for fun anyway, right?
Yeah, what do I got to lose, right? Yeah.
I mean, like I can go back on the deck with another glass of wine if you don't bring the price up.
Exactly. And thanks to you, we're at $1.6 million. So, and it's all tribute to you. So
I didn't give you any money. You did it all. I'm proud of you, though. Way to go. So, how much of that did you inherit?
0.
There's another one.
Another everyday millionaire right there.
Another one right there. And you know what I like about that?
And I did a ton of stupid. I got there in spite of myself.
I love it. And here's one thing I love about your story, is you're debt free, 1.6 million. You have options. So if this doesn't work out, you're okay. Like, you don't need this. You're doing this because you want to.
It's just kind of for fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, what do I got to lose, right?
And
Yeah.
you're gonna make $150,000.
Yeah, you trade Chicago for Columbus for a little while.
Yep.
Not a big deal.
Yeah.
Do this, and she goes to $2 million in the next 5 years.
Oh, more.
Yeah.
Much more.
Come on. Yeah.
You're gonna be at 5. Yeah.
Oof.
It's pretty incredible. So, what were your all's careers when you were working and building this wealth?
Physical therapy, and I ran a clinical research team.
Okay. All right. Very cool.
Medicine and.
So you had a household income a couple of hundred?
Yeah.
Back then? Yeah.
At the end. Yeah, at the end. I mean, not during.
And the 1.6 is what? Mutual funds?
Mutual funds and house.
House. What's the house worth?
300.
Okay.
Oh.
All right.
So the majority of that's in mutual funds.
Well, way to go. And you inherited how much of the total 1.6?
Zero.
I think I asked that a minute ago. Okay.
I like that.
I like asking it over and over and over
too.
again, just to
Yeah.
remind all these left-wing idiots out there that all rich people didn't inherit their money. You know, as a matter of fact, most of them didn't. Oh, there you go. Most of them are Cindy. Way to go, Cindy. What a cool place you are in. I'm so proud of you. I bet he pays her $200 to come. What do you want bet? This is the Ramsey Show. Anthony O'Neill, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today. Open phones at 888-825-5225. Julian is with us in Jacksonville, Florida. Hi, Julian. How are you?
I'm doing better than I deserve, Dave.
Good. How can we help today?
So I had a question for you. I wanted to ask you if I should start a business right now in this point in my life.
Why not?
So I'm currently 22. I'm about to graduate college in about 2 semesters. And I was very fortunate to have worked when I was in high school. At one point, I was doing almost 30 hours a week while in high school. And through a very aggressive portfolio, I've managed to end up buying a house at this point. So I currently have a house that I bought, and I'm moving into it in August at this point.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. What are you studying?
So I study computer science.
Okay.
So I'm an engineer for computer science.
And what's the business you're going to start while you're in school?
So we were going to start an electric mobility business for personal transportation. So this would be ranging everything from electric mobility for older people and as well as small personal transportation like electric scooters and skateboards.
Sounds interesting. And you said you and some friends?
So the ideas and all the designs are mine. I have a few friends that I'm considering bringing on. I haven't decided 100% on that yet.
Okay, so you're going to design, for instance, a scooter, have it manufactured and sell it.
Correct. So it'd be small-scale manufacturing. Some of the initial market research I've done, as well as I have I have all the supplies and everything already set and ready, and based on that, it makes economical sense to do it. So
walk me through that part. What are you selling them for? What's the total dollars involved?
So we're aiming to have about 3 different models, ranging from 500. Well, this is for the electric scooter parts at least, ranging from 500 to about 1,200. For the 500, we're looking at about $250 manufacturing and selling for 500. And for the upper end, for the 1,200 one, we're looking at about $600 to manufacture and the $1,200 to sell.
All right.
And that's about lined up with what the current market and what wholesale value.
And how many would you do in your first run?
I'm sorry?
How many would you make in your first run?
So we were going to sell locally first, and we were going to do about 100 of each model.
$600,000.
Correct.
And where's this money coming from?
I was very fortunate to have been investing money in the stock market. And I just ended up with quite a bit of money. And
how much?
That's kind of where I am right now.
How much, man?
So right now, including, so I just bought the house. So I'm sitting on about around 400.
You paid cash for the home?
I did pay cash for the house, correct. So the 400 is not including the house. And as well as all the taxes for the capital gains have been paid off.
No. I would not start this business.
Sorry?
No, I would not start this business. Here's why. Here's the rule of thumb that I use. Anytime you have to James Bond the deal, you don't do the deal. James Bond in every movie is playing cards with the villain and puts all his chips on the table for one hand. If he loses that hand, the world gets collapsed and we all die. If you put $400,000, or only $400,000 into scooters and they don't sell, you're screwed. Right. You're back to zero. No, I would not bet the farm on one hand. That's bad diversification. It's bad economics. It's bad business practices. You would need to start much smaller than you're talking about starting and prove your concept somewhere other than in your dreams.
So are you saying not start it or just start small?
I'm saying start uber small. Yes. Very, very small, not with Uber.
I agree.
But start like 1/10 of what you're talking about. If you want to put 60 grand of your 400 in and go sell those and then use that money to buy the next batch and that money to buy the next batch, fine. Am I dropping 600 in when I've only got 400 and this thing turns sideways and you end up with zero and a bunch of scooters in your garage? No, thank you.
And Julian, he's only teaching what I've watched him do. The man has moved.
Yeah, here's what happens, man. Because I've been running this business for almost 30 years.
Yeah,
we made almost all of our money, Julian, off of 10% of our ideas. The other 90% of our ideas sucked. Every entrepreneur experiences that. You guys in the public most of you never see the 90% of our ideas that sucked. But if we had scaled them all to use up our entire net worth on one of those ideas that sucked, we would have been out of business. Instead, you run test markets and you do social proofing on this somewhere other than your research of the marketplace. You actually go sell something. Because people, when they're taking surveys and they say, oh, yes, I would buy that, they lie until you ask them for their freaking money. And then when they give you real money and there's a transaction that occurs, that is market research, dude. That will get you there. So, no, I do. If the only way to do this is for you to spend all of the money that you have on this one play, only to find out that you're late to the scooter game, that Bird already beat you there, only to find out that electronic skateboards are now out of business because everybody keeps cracking their head open and nobody wants to ride them anymore, only to find out the things that are happening in the consumer marketplace that you couldn't see with your research lens, and then you lose it all because you bet the farm on one horse race and you lose the family farm. No, that is a lack of a diversification. That's James Bonding it. And I teach small business people this all the time in Entre Leadership. If you got to slide all your chips to the middle of the table and on that one hand of cards, then you're making a bad play. Yeah. That only works in the movies. That only works in some book that some guy wrote where he forgot to tell you about all the fish he didn't catch before he caught the big one. Because the truth is, in the real world, 90% of our ideas suck. The truth is, there's 3 rules of business. It takes twice as long as you think it's going to. It costs twice as much as you think it's going to, and you're not the exception. Those are the 3 rules of business. And I've experienced that. I knocked all the hair off my head, dude. And I don't want you to have to experience it the wrong way.
Yeah.
One of the reasons I went broke in the real estate business is I had all of my chips on the table in one business model that was broken.
Yeah.
And when the cracks in the business model happened and the business model, crashed in on my head, I didn't have anything left. It broke me. And it's a lack of diversification. It's bad business process.
Yeah.
So don't do it.
But I like
the way you've outlined it.
I like the way he's thinking, though, Dave, as far as I want a business.
I never met a 20-year-old that ran up $400,000 in the stock market.
Exactly.
So I'm curious about that too. But just assuming this,
it's 100%.
Let me tell you, here's the problem, Jillian. You are unbelievably smart, and that might be your biggest handicap.
That's true.
You're gonna overthink crap, and you're gonna have an intellectual arrogance that because you're so stinking smart, that's gonna cause you to step in dog poo, and you're never gonna see it coming.
Mm-hmm.
Because you were looking, and I'm telling you, some of us are a little dumber. We got an advantage, because you obviously, man, 20 years old, you're a freaking savant, man, doing what you're doing. It's awesome. I'm so proud of you.
Pay cash.
But do not bet the farm on this. You I don't know what you did right that got you to 400, but it got you there, and I'm happy for you that you got it. But now from there, what I would do is use standard business acumen, and let's test market this. Let's pilot it with a tenth of what you're talking about, where if you lose 60 grand and instead of 400 you got 340, I'm not so pissed. If you lose this whole thing because Bird comes along and eats your lunch with a Scooter World or something, I don't want you to do that. This is the Ramsey Show. Our scripture of the day, Colossians 3:12, as God's chosen people, holy and dearly loved, clothe yourselves with compassion, kindness, humility, gentleness, and patience. Richard Branson said, I've always believed that the way you treat your employees is the way they will treat your customers, and that people flourish when they are praised. Anthony O'Neill, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today. We're answering your questions about life. Kiernan is with us in San Antonio. Hi, Kiernan. How are you?
Hi, I'm doing great. How are you guys?
Better than we deserve. What's up?
Hey, I'm 28 years old. I make about 63 grand a year. I got a bachelor's in economics, a master's in public administration. Got about 130 in student loan debt. I got about 50 sitting in an investment account, 6 stashed away in a traditional IRA and a Roth. The Roth has got $1,000 in it. The traditional's got $5 in it. My employer puts 10% of my salary in a 401k for me. Job is in D.C., live in Texas. Because of the COVID thing, at some point I'm going to have to go back to D.C. Was in the Peace Corps for 3 years. I'm 30 payments into the student loan forgiveness portion of the 120 that I've got to make to get the balance forgiven at the end of that. Cheaper for me to buy something in D.C., a condo, it looks like, because that's about what I could afford.
What's your question?
How do I untangle all of this?
It's easy. Pay off the debt.
Yeah, we need to get rid of the student loan debt. Here's the thing. To date, the 120-month due to serving a nonprofit student loan forgiveness program. The PSLF, the Public Service Loan Forgiveness Program, has had 250,000 people apply after they finish their 120 payments. They have granted 3,700 out of 250,000. It's a scam.
Wow.
It's not something you want to bank on. The government has lied, and they're not following through on it. There are some types of student loan forgiveness that actually do work. That one does not work. The data on it is horrendous and heartbreaking because people spent 10 freaking years working towards it. And so you currently work for the Peace Corps.
No. I work for an agency of the federal government.
Okay, so that's why you only make $60,000 when you have a master's degree in public policy. Because you should be making double that, right?
I suppose, having spent 3 years in Africa, and I'm not looking for anything stateside. I don't know.
Yeah.
To be real honest.
I mean, you had a degree in economics, right, and a master's in public. What was it?
Administration.
Public administration.
Public administration.
Yeah. And I mean, generally that does line you up for a governmental position, without a doubt. But I think you probably are worth more than you're paid in the marketplace. I was a little shocked when I heard that, the master's, and I heard that $60K. So anyway, the way I untangle it is I work on the career side of this equation and say, am I really being paid what I am worth in this marketplace, and make sure that you're worth that. I could be wrong. I'm not 100% sure. And then I'm going to get about the business of getting the student loan cleaned up so that I can begin investing. So right back to Anthony's point, clearing the debt is the simple and the correct mathematical way to get you the closest way to some kind of financial peace, some kind of financial stability, some level of wealth. The shortest distance between you and there is to clear this student loan debt.
And here's the problem that I have with this program, Dave, and correct me if I'm wrong, but it's like a lot of these people see this, well, I'm going to make the minimum payment when they have the means to make a lot more, when they have the means to pay it off. Some of them do. But they say, you know what, just make the minimum, live in this for 10 years, and say they forgive me. Then they get to the end, they won't forgive me. Now they got to go another 2-3 years to pay it off.
Yeah, it's clear. And it's, aside from the fact that it's just misleading.
Exactly.
Hundreds of thousands of people that have not been able to get the government to do what they thought they were promised. And in some cases, they haven't followed through on the details. In some cases, something else is going on. But it's the ugliest, one of the ugliest stories in the whole student loan debacle.
Man.
So, I'm not going to wait on someone else to fix this if I'm in your shoes. I'm going to work on the income side of my equation, and I'm going to clear the student loan debt so that I can get about the business of building wealth. And I would stop adding to investments until you get this mess cleaned up. But I really do think you can double your income. I might be wrong. I'm wrong a lot of times, but
he can get it.
I think you've got some legitimate education that's usable in the marketplace.
Yes,
there.
sir. Yes, sir.
I really do. Nicholas is with us in San Francisco. Hi, Nicholas. How are you?
Hi, Dave.
How can we help?
So I'm 27 years old. I'm single. I have no debt. I have $500,000 in savings, and I make $250 a year. And before the pandemic, I was kind of living well beyond my means. However, post-pandemic, something changed, and I started just spending basically all my income. I don't know, like something during the pandemic made me change my outlook on life. I don't know if this new way of life is the correct way, or should I go back on being super frugal and go on and saving all my income? Does my question make sense?
Yeah. So you're saying that the post-pandemic, you start spending everything you make?
Exactly. Just like, I don't know.
Does that indicate what I think it indicates? I think it indicates you're hopeless. You don't believe in the future anymore. So spend it all now because the future's not going to be there.
I guess. I don't know, like a YOLO mentality, like you only live once.
Yeah.
Like before the pandemic, I would just save in.
But YOLO takes on two forms. YOLO takes on the form of I don't believe there is a positive future, which is hopelessness. And the other type of YOLO is just simple immaturity. And it's I'm a child and I want to go, thank God it's Friday, oh God it's Monday, and I have no discipline whatsoever. And I just want to be immature and spin my butt off. And I don't care, I'm hedonistic. I don't care anything about any noble calling in this life at all. That's the general YOLO falling, but occasionally I run into a YOLO that's based in hopelessness. Hope deferred makes the heart sick, the proverb says. But when desire comes, it is the tree of life. And so I think your heart got broken.
Oh, yeah. 26-year-old, though, Dave, tend to believe that I'm young. You only live once. Enjoy it.
Yeah, but he was a saver before. And the pandemic
kind of
changed him.
Exactly.
He didn't suddenly become immature.
Right.
Pandemic didn't make him immature.
Not at all.
So I'm going to tell you, Nicholas, I think that you sit down and you think about, do I really believe that that this is all going to work if I play it through? You quit believing it was going to work if I save money.
Yeah.
If I save and invest. And I don't want you to be necessarily, you make $250,000 a year. You don't need to live on beans and rice.
Right.
Okay? But you do need to be saving money, and that's a spiritual, emotional, psychological indicator that you believe in the future. And if you quit believing in the future because of the pandemic, that's hopelessness, and that's what I smell.
Right. And I wouldn't quit believing in the future. If you had $100,000 saved, it got you through the pandemic, so that should have been proof that your philosophy was working.
Yeah. Yeah, I can promise you this about the future. There's going to be awesome times. Yeah. I can also promise you this about the future. There's going to be bad times.
Yes, sir.
Count on it. And be ready for both. Be the pig in the brick house, the third pig.
The third one.
Where when the wolf comes, he huffs and he puffs, and you're in the brick house. And that's enjoying your life and saving money. Both. It's not just one or the other. Hope that helps. That puts this hour of The Ramsey Show in the books. We'll be back with you before you know it. In the meantime, remember, there's ultimately only one way to financial peace, and that's to walk daily with the Prince of Peace, Christ Jesus.
This is James Childs, producer of The Ramsey Show. Did you know The Ramsey Show is one of the most popular podcasts in the world? Subscribe or follow today wherever you listen to podcasts.